from Washington, DC. So where you want to start? You want to start with my profile, or you want to create a brand new profile? What is your preference? You can type or you can chat. Unmute. Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
I mean, whatever you feel that you want to make a flow.
Okay. Let me share with my profile. That will be quick and easy to start.
Sure, please. Thanks.
Okay, here is my profile. If you can see my screen. It's a lot of information because I'm connected with so many people and I work in so many different companies, and a lot of people are active and they're posting something or other. That is one part. And the other part is people are messaging me. If you see on my screen, these are all people messaged me recently, October 22nd, 21, 20, 19. So from October 18 onwards, I did not check my messages on LinkedIn. And these people have messaged me. And let's go straight to my profile here. So this is my profile. And so to start with profile, briefly, your profile says where you are working right now, if you are already working, and in which institution you completed your education. So those are the two primary things it shows at the top. And the other thing it will show you is whether your profile is right now public or private. And the employers who are trying to hire you, are they able to see you as active or passive or in between? So there are three different types of settings you can have for your LinkedIn profile if you already have a profile. So one is actively looking for a job. You are out of job and you are actively looking for a job. Otherwise, you got a notice from your employer saying that in next 2 weeks or 1 month or 3 months, your job is going to end because of whatever the reasons. Maybe budget is not there, the project is over, something happened, and you are actively looking for a job. That is one situation. And the second situation is you are in the job, but you are preferring to change. It's a time for you to change the job. Maybe you don't like the technologies. Maybe you are done with the company. You are working for so long, like 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and you say, okay, I want to change from now. Otherwise, you are trying to change the job because you are trying to change the technology. You are trying to change the job because you want more salary. There may be any number of reasons, but you are ready to change the job. But you are not out of the job and your employer is not kicking you out, or you are not willing to move out of the company immediately. The third option is you're not at all looking for a job. So these are the three different situations people are in. You have already active profile and you want to show different status to your potential employers. Either you are actively looking for a job, or if there is a good opportunity, you are ready to grab. Or the third option is you are not at all looking for a job. And if you see my dashboard, it says it is private to you. No one can see my dashboard, right? And here, from here onwards, my profile starts. So it says who I am, what I did, what are all the different technologies I worked on. So you can write whatever the story you want about yourself. And the employers might read it, they might not read it, but that's what it is. Then it goes some activity is not really important. What is really important is your experience. So in which company you worked, what was your position, from what date to what date did you work, and is there any gap in between your jobs? This information is available under your experience. So this is the most important section when it comes to LinkedIn profile creation and maintenance. So if you see here, I'm right now working in my current job from 2020 April onwards, and for last 1 year and 7 months I'm working in this company. And prior to that, I worked in another company 11 months. Then there was one other company 1 year 1 month. There was another company 5 months, one more company 5 years. This is how my chronology looks like. Then one more company 9 months, one more company 6 years and 9 months. And there is another company 9 years. There is one more year in another company. There may be more experiences which I did not list here. From 2004 onwards is listed. And what is my education? Where did I complete my graduation? Where did I complete my any other degree, any other professional trainings and other things? You can mention whatever you want to mention. The important point is your experience and also your profile. So in your profile and experience, whatever the technologies you mention, whatever the experience you mention, that is important. And the potential employers and the recruiters are going to search through all the profiles on the LinkedIn when they are trying to find a candidate. So that's important. If you write all the technologies which you really know, you have to mention them, because if you know some technology and you did not mention, you forgot to mention, or you overlooked it, you are not going to get the job interview calls or emails or messages. Because when they are searching using some set of keywords, they are not finding you as a potential candidate. For example, in my case, I am a Java developer. So if I write only Java, people are not going to get my profile. But along with Java, if I am going to mention other things, for example, if you see here I said Java, Spring, microservices, Swagger. So some keywords are there, some technologies are there. There are a list of technologies which are associated with my job profile. And when they are searching, they see, oh, this particular person has all these technologies, combination of all these technologies. They'll try to reach me. And if you see on my right side, there are messages here. Let me open one message here. Right? I'm reaching out to see if you would be interested in Java opportunity, something, right? And let's see one more message here. Yes, another recruiter, curiosity employment, but wanted to be. See, I know this is crazy time in employment discussions, but wanted to touch base about an opportunity I thought you would be a good fit for. Why they are saying I am the good fit? Because they have seen some 2 or 3 different technologies listed in my profile, and they are looking for a candidate with those technologies. So if you have right set of technologies listed in your profile, you are going to get potential job opportunities through an employer or HR person or a recruiter or someone. One important point. And the second most important point in terms of creating a LinkedIn profile is, if you work in a company, try to connect people through that company. So for example, I have worked in a company called USAC here, right? So if I go to this USAC, there are some people. See, there are 18 people who are connected with me here. So Abhirami was my manager in that company. Samir was my tech lead. And these all other people you see here, Thomas Carpenter, Tanya, Bashar, Aparna, these all people, they were all my colleagues in the company. So if you work in a company, try to see who are other people in that company, you know them, and they do have a LinkedIn profile, connect with them. What happens is, when you connect with those people on LinkedIn, it gives you an authenticity. The employers and the HR people or these recruiters, what they do is They want to know whatever the information you have written on the LinkedIn is really genuine or not. You are saying you worked in Tata Consulting Company, TCS, right? But no one is connected with you in TCS. But if there are 100 people connected in TCS, which means you really worked in TCS because there are 100 people who know you, right? So for example, if I go to one other company in my profile, right? See, here I worked for 5 years. In those 5 years, a lot of people came and left. So here, if you see, there are 36 people who are connected with me. If you see in front of each name, there is a first, right? So all these people are connected with me in that company because I worked for 5 years. Even I know maybe 10, 20 more people, but I'm not connected, but at least 35 people are connected with me. And the second important point, apart from LinkedIn, is whenever you work in a company, don't try to burn the bridge. When you are done with your job, don't try to burn the bridge. Stay connected with your previous manager, previous colleagues, either on LinkedIn or through email or WhatsApp or some SMS message or something. What happens is sometimes in future, you will get a job, and in that job, the employer says, I want to contact your previous managers or colleagues to verify your experience. You are saying you worked in so-and-so company, but no one knows you, or you know you have contact information of no one. Then it is really hard. It becomes like impossible for you to prove you worked in that company. Of course, you might have an experience letter. Of course, here in US, I never have an experience letter. I work for like 15 companies, but none of the companies gave me an experience letter, and I don't really need that. But when it comes to verification, they will call the people who are like previous managers or previous leads or previous colleagues. They will call them. They will call and verify, who is this person? Did he work with you? What was the technologies they were using? How this person's behavior was? He used to come on time to the office or not? He used to fight with other people in the company or not? This information they are going to get from your previous colleagues and previous managers. That's why don't try to burn the bridge when you leave the office. When you are working in an office, try to keep the connections on. One best way to keep the connections on is the LinkedIn profile. So you have a LinkedIn profile and you are connected with the previous friends. And once in a while, you can message them saying that, oh, happy anniversary. You worked for 4 more years, 3, 5 more years, 6 more years in the same company. And you can say congratulations to that person. Otherwise, sometimes you can say happy birthday, happy anniversary, happy new year, something, so that you can keep connections alive. So that is important thing. So there are two different important aspects here. Number one, you are trying to keep them connected. Number two, these employers and recruiters will be able to see there are 27 people connected with you in that company, which means you really worked in that company, right? And so these are the things. And one other important point about your profile is, if I go back to my profile here, skills and endorsements. So sometimes this is really useful. I'm not sure how many employers and recruiters and HR people are really looking for this. But what happens is you are saying you worked in A, B, C, D, and D technologies. But someone has to say, yeah, this person really worked on those technologies. So for example, here there are 4 people who are endorsing my skills. So there is one person, Aslam Khan, he's saying, I know DB2. So I can say add to profile. Some other person, Kiran, says, I know SDLC. I'm not saying, they are saying that. I don't even know when did they say it. And there is one other person here, Mumtaz Muhammad, and he says, I know SDLC, right? Some other person, Javed Ansari, says, I know WebSphere, right? And Vijay Dasari endorsed agile methodologies. And one other person, he says this thing, right? So one is endorsements. Now, the next thing is recommendations. Recommendations are important when it comes from a CEO of a company, vice president of a company, or your previous manager. So remember three things. Number one, you are either previous manager or vice president of the company, HR manager of the company, or CEO of the company. If there are big people who are endorsing you, that will be better. Recommendation is better. But if your colleagues are endorsing, that is fine, but that's not important. What is important is your previous manager says, this person is so good. He worked with me in previous company, and I'm really happy with his work. I'm recommending this person. Otherwise, CEO of the company says, in my whole company of 500 or 1000 employees or 100 employees, this person was good. I really like his work ethics, and his communication skills or something. If they praise you, they recommend you, it definitely matters, right? So recommendations, I have given two, I have received two. For me, it's not really important at this time, so I'm not trying to reach out to my previous managers or other people. But if I reach out, they might give. As I said, I have very good connections with my previous managers, and whenever there was a new job change happening, new employers or some investigation agency will reach out to them, and they do the background investigation on me, and my employer will reply back through an email or a phone call. Most of the times they call my previous managers to find out who I am and how my work ethics were during that period of time, right? So recommendations are important. Accomplishments, if you have any certifications, any recent trainings, you can mention in those accomplishments. In terms of interest, you can write whatever the company names you want to write to. Otherwise, you can write some educational institutions, training institutions, anything you might want to provide in your interest. A lot of people don't care, but sometimes they might go to this section and also see. The most important point, as I said, is your experience. In your experience, you have to mention from what date to what date in terms of months, from which month and year combination to which month and year combination did you work, how long did you work, and what technologies did you use. So that is important, because the employers are looking for the technologies, right? A lot of people send me a connection request to me, I don't even know them. So I prefer not to connect with those people when I don't know them. At least, for example, like I am a CGC speaker today at CGC session, and I know some other CGC speaker. If he is sending me a connection request, it makes sense, because we are both CGC speakers at CGC nonprofit organization, right? Then it makes sense to have a connection. But people who are really unknown to me, somehow they get to know about me and they are sending me a connection request, and I'm not going to accept that. If I go to my notifications, you will see see here it says you appear on 12 searches this week. So 12 different people were searching and my name was coming up in the searches. So that is another extra information you are getting from the LinkedIn. And if I go to my network, here you will see the pending requests. These are the people. See this person, Sheikh Khalil, I don't even know who he is. And he is sending me a connection request. So I am just ignoring this person's connection request because I don't know who you are. right? And this Bhavana Rajput is a recruitment specialist, some recruiter. I might accept that connection request, right? And Nicole, this is again a recruiter, and this is another recruiter. So if there are people who are recruiters, sometimes I might accept their requests, especially when I'm actively looking for a job. If I'm looking for a job, a connection request from a recruiter makes sense for me because they are the one who are going to give me an opportunity to work with them and their company and their future job, right? So that's important. And in terms of connections, I already have 899 connections here. And I'm following 3 people, 1 group, and something like that. So I don't really go and keep updating my profile every day. But once in a while, once in a month, once in 3 months, I'll come here and see what kind of improvements I can do to my profile. For example, in front of you, let me make some changes to my profile. So here I was working in my company right now, and we started using some different technologies. So let me edit this and show you what I'm doing here. So I'm still a Java developer here, working with the same company, same place, nothing changed. But here, if I see, we were using this OpenShift platform, OCP. See, I'm adding another keyword. So whenever I make some change to my profile, all these people who are following me are trying to look for potential job opportunities. So what they do is they will see me, oh, someone updated their profile on October 23rd. So October 23rd is just today. Oh, someone updated their profile means they might be looking for a job. So my profile latest last update date becomes fresh. In that way, they are able to see me in their search list first in the top in the results. So for example, they are searching for Java developers and there are 5,000 results. Out of 5,000, my name will appear in first 10 or first 20 or first 5 because I updated just today, right? It's a fresh resume. And same thing happens in other job portals also. For example, monster.com, naukri.com, any other websites. Whenever you go and update your profile, it shows last updated. Recently updated profiles will show in top, right? And the profiles which are updated like 5 years ago will appear on second or third page if it is paginated results. So if someone is searching for Java developers and there are like 5,000 results, your name will appear on 439th page. Who is going to go to 439th page and find out, oh, this candidate, let me send an email to that person, right? So that's why if you are actively looking for a job, try to learn something new and then add in your profile and try to add as many keywords as possible. Because if you see, OpenShift platform was already there, but OCP was not there. Now I added OCP. So if someone is searching for a candidate who knows OCP, then my name will come in the results. Now I'm adding one more. Recently we started using Convoy. So if someone is looking for a candidate working worked in Convoy along with Java and other technologies, my name will appear, right? So that's how you are going to improve. And we were using this MariaDB before, and now we are using Postgres, right? So that's how you are going to improve your profile. I'm just showing you one example, right? And I'm not going to provide the whole resume here on my LinkedIn profile or any other job websites, right? These are the things, and you have any questions, you can type or you can unmute and talk. Any questions? Hello? No questions? Let me show you one other thing I was telling you. If I go to my settings, settings and privacy, and here, my account preferences, profile information. Let's see, what do I have here? So this is my profile information. So see, I am changing something, he, him. And it says visible to all LinkedIn members. And current position, and my university, and my location. So it's already there. Now let's go to personal demographic information. It's already there. And job seeking preferences. So this is important. Job application settings. So here self ID, your privacy is important. See, upload resume. You can submit your resume, entire resume, but I don't do that. The reason why I don't do that is, I have to unmute. Okay, try unmute yourself now.
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yeah, so I just tried to look into the endorsement section in my profile just now, and I'm not able to see that section here. There's no endorsement section in my profile section.
Oh. So you are in India?
Yes.
So endorsement is available only in US?
I'm not sure. Right now I'm in the profile section. So in the profile, I just
no, not in profile section. Not in profile section. Go to your name, click on your name.
Okay.
Then you will see the endorsements.
Name, there's no link in the name, right? There's contact.
For example, okay, I'll show you my screen. See, this is view profile, right?
Okay.
Okay, I'm clicking on my name itself. Okay, that's where I am. Okay, settings and privacy. Let's go back to my profile. I'm clicking on my picture. I'm going back here. And here I see about activity, experience, and then education, skills, endorsements, recommendations. So you don't even see this whole section?
I see activity section. Then there is experience and interest. That's the end of the page. After that, there's no endorsement or the skill. There's nothing is there.
For me, it is there. I don't know why you don't see it. Maybe in India, they are not providing that option. If someone else on this call, can you please try your profile? Maybe. I just want to make sure the people in India cannot see that whole section. I'm not sure.
So probably I can take this offline with you because it might disrupt the other candidates.
No, I'm just checking the profile. The recommendation section is not available to everyone or only to you. That's what I'm trying to check.
Okay, fine. If it's not blocking your session,
that's one thing. And the second thing, there were some other questions here. How can you get my editing resume? I think you are trying to edit your resume, which is already uploaded to the LinkedIn you can just delete the old one and upload the new one. That is one possibility. See, the other people are having the endorsement section available. So, which means you have something wrong with your profile. You can either contact the LinkedIn people to find out why the endorsement section is not visible to you. Because if everyone is able to see, you should also be able to see, because we don't have any special account like premium account or something. And the second thing, that second question here was, don't recommend linking the CV resume. Oh, yeah. See, my preference is I'm not going to upload my entire resume on LinkedIn or any other job portal. For example, Naukri.com, Monster.com, any of these portals, I'm not going to upload my resume. The reason are two reasons. Number one, a lot of people who are posing as a recruiter or already working as a recruiter, they will be able to download my entire resume. And sometimes people are going to steal contents from the resume. There are some important things which I mentioned in my resume for my job purposes, but I don't want others to copy that whole content, especially the people who are freshers. What they do is they will copy the entire project and they pose as if they worked on that project. That's one thing. Second thing is, if some employer is looking for a job opening and they are trying to approach me, they say, can you please send me your resume? If my resume is already available on all the job portals, what new things I'm going to give them? Nothing, right? So that's why I prefer not to upload my resume. I'm trying to go in phases. The first phase is I'm going to give you the brief information on the job portal or the LinkedIn, number one. The phase two is I'm going to send you the resume, phase two. Phase 2 has more information compared to phase 1. Phase 3, I'm going to attend an interview. In interview, I'm going to talk more things than my resume. Phase 3. And the phase 4 is you give me an opportunity to work. I will show you more than what I spoke about me in my interview. You see, there are 4 phases. The first phase is I'm going to give you the minimum information on my job portal or LinkedIn. Phase 1. Phase 2, I'm going to provide more information than LinkedIn in my resume. Phase 3, I'm going to give you more information in interview than my resume. Phase 4 is I'm going to work more than my interview in my actual job. So that's how I prefer to approach. That is my preference. I'm not saying everyone has to follow my preference. If I say like 500 technologies and all the information in resume itself, then what I'm going to talk about in my interview, I'm just going to read my resume? No. There are a lot of things which I'm going to talk during the interview, which are not there in the resume. There are a lot of things which are there in my actual resume, Word or PDF, which are not there on these job portals. So there is something new people are going to get and they are looking forward to. When someone says, send me your resume, my resume has a lot of information which is not there on the job portal. That's why they are asking me to send the resume. If my resume is already there on the job portals, then what I'm sending you? Nothing. So, but it is my choice. I'm not trying to give you that advice. Everyone should not be following what I'm doing, right? So I was showing the settings section just now. So in settings section, you can say, are you actively looking for job or not? So here there is a visibility section, profile viewing option, story viewing option, public viewing option, and connections. So all these things are there. Who can see your last name? Replying organization request, discovery, visibility, communications, data privacy, blocking. So all these things, this is where you are going to specify what information people are going to see about yourself and what information you don't want others to see. For example, not everyone should see my phone number. Not everyone should see my email address, because I don't want the emails getting bombarded on my inbox. Every day by default, I'm going to get like 50 emails, some advertisement, some job opening, something, right? So if I keep my email address open on LinkedIn, I will get too many emails. I don't want. I have my own privacy. So I'm going to stop that. And the second thing is, If I am actively looking for a job, I'm going to change. I'm actively looking for a job. There is a setting for that in this LinkedIn. See, there are option to save as a PDF, build a new resume. So you can build a whole brand new resume, giving all your information here. Let me go to other websites. For example, Naukri.com. People who are in India, they can use this Naukri.com website to build your profile and search for jobs and upload your resume if you want to upload. And I think there is one more website called Naukri Gulf, right? That's what I remember. Naukri Gulf. Yeah, naukrigulf.com. So the people who are trying to look for jobs in Gulf region like Dubai, Bahrain, Saudi, Qatar, those areas, you might register yourself here. If you are already working in that region, you might create your profile here. And people who are in India, they can also go to another website, Monster India, right? Monsterindia.com. So there's a monster.com, monsterindia.com. So this monster.com is US based website and Monster India is a Indian website. So here also you can search for jobs, you can create your profile, and you can apply for jobs also. And the employers, recruiters, and HR people who are trying to find candidates, they will come here and they will look for the candidates. And when they look for candidates, what they see is the keywords. So if you have right keywords, right set of keywords, you will be in their search results on page number 1. Most of the times they might browse through first page or second page in results. So for example, 5,000 results are there. Each page has like 50 results. So they might see first 50, second 50, third 50, that's it. Even if I'm doing like Google search, I'm not going to go to 5th, 6th page and see for something, right? So same thing here. So these are the other websites apart from LinkedIn where you can create your profile and search for the jobs.
Is there any way to get a referral job in US?
Referral means if you know
For
someone.
example, you are working there, right? So is there possible you refer our profile and they may consider it?
So for example, in my company, there is a job opening and I am saying, can you please give job to this so-and-so person? The first question they are going to ask me is, how do you know this person? Is he your family friend? Is he your roommate? Is he your classmate in your engineering? Or is he your office colleague in my previous office? If I say this person is a previous colleague in my previous office, definitely they will consider. So first question is, how do you know? If I say I know that person from my previous office, the second question they ask is, how was that person? Whether he is technologically sound, how is his attitude, how is his ego problems, he comes to office every day on time or not. All these questions they are going to ask me. If I say the person is very good in terms of technologies, the person's ego is good, the person has all good qualities, then they will give you a preference. They are not just going to hire blindly. So for example, I was looking for a job and my previous colleague was a manager in another company. Under him, there was no opening, but his colleague, another manager, had opening. So he said, I'm going to recommend you to my colleague. So I said, that's fine. So that manager called me for a formal interview. Then I went there. I was prepared to give the interview. But the good thing was my friend was a manager there and these two managers are colleagues with each other. And the other manager said, I'm not going to take a formal interview with you, but because I have to follow the process. So I'm going to ask 2-3 questions. You write something on the board, whiteboard, and he gave me the marker. So I have written something on the board and explained him and he was satisfied. And he said, even if you didn't write anything on the board, I would have hired you because you are coming through my colleague. So that kind of a strong reference, if you have, definitely they will consider. But the first question they will ask is, did you work with him? If you say I am his family friend, for example, I had a family friend, he was looking for a job and I sent his resume. They asked me, how do you know him? I said, he is my family friend. We meet like every 3 months, every 1 month in get-togethers, in parties, birthday parties, something. They did not even call him and interviewed him. So you see, the references are working when you say previous colleague. The references are not working when you say family friend, right? So reference is going to work depending upon what is your reference.
So they do not consider what is the expertise of a particular candidate. Instead of
See,
that, they are more inclined towards the reference, who is giving the reference, is it?
They are going to consider the reference only if the reference is in terms of technology, in terms of experience.
Yeah.
If the experience and technology is not the reference, then your reference is waste. It is useless.
So, like, I mean, you're saying that we cannot try to get into a job with our technical expertise instead of the reference, is it?
Can you repeat one more time?
So what I'm saying is, if I'm trying to get into a job in US with my technical expertise and experience, then they will not consider my profile. They want a candidate with a reference.
No, that's not correct. That's not correct. Through your technical expertise and experience, definitely you will get a job, but you have to go through the process. The process is someone is going to do you pre-screening. For example, a recruiter is recruiting you. For example, let me go back to my profile and show you who are the recruiters here. There are a lot of messages.
Currently I'm aware of this particular group and I'm trying to approach you. So correct. Because I know you are working there, so I feel more credibility going through you. So if they call me for an interview because you are referring me, and if they check my credibility and then if they reject, that's fine. But if they do not consider my profile itself without validating my expertise and they are just looking, okay, this person is not a former employee of Sayat facility.
See,
so we should not consider.
They might consider, they might not consider. That's what I mean to say. But if you are giving a reference and the reference is a professional reference with previous office experience, definitely they are going to consider. That's what I mean to say. Okay. If you are going through a formal process, for example, if you see on my screen, there is a Lisa and Lisa is looking for a candidate, right? So if the Lisa says, okay, I have seen your resume and your resume looks good, and someone from Lisa's company is going to do a 1 round of phone screening with you. And they are going to ask technical questions regarding those all technologies which you listed in your resume or the technologies which are there in their job description here. For example, if you see, I'm reaching out to see if you're interested in opportunity looking for a senior developer to support Java, J2E, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Python, Bash scripting, Node.js, Hibernate, Spring ecosystem, AngularJS, jQuery, AWS. If all these keywords are available in your resume, Lisa is going to try your profile, your experience with her company. So Lisa has a company. Lisa is representing which company here? I don't know. Let me go to Lisa and find out. So Lisa is company working for some, okay, didn't say company name here. Okay. Vantage Technology Solutions. So Vantage Technology Solutions has so many people. There are some people who are tech savvy. There are some people who are HR specialists. So Lisa is a HR specialist. She don't know any technologies. But if Lisa thinks your profile, your resume is good, she is going to refer your resume to a technical person. The technical person is going to call you, and that technical person is a full-time employee or a contractor of Vantage Technology Solutions. They are going to see whatever the experience you are claiming in your resume is genuine or not. If they think your resume is good, your technology is real, what they do is they are going to forward your resume to hiring manager of their client. We don't know who is their client. Once the client sees your resume, client will think, oh, this resume looks good. If Lisa is sending, definitely this candidate might be a good candidate, because Lisa is going to send the resume only if she is satisfied with your experience and whatever the information you have given in the phone interview, right? So that is first screening. First screening is looking for your resume and all the keywords. And the second phase is she try to satisfy herself through her company technology person before forwarding your resume to client. Now the client has to satisfy with your resume, and client has to make a call or Zoom call or Skype call or face-to-face interview with you. That is the third filtering, right? So
Yeah,
that's how it works.
so once if they, let's say, like if they consider my profile is suitable for the requirement, so they will be calling me by sending the visa. We need to spend money for visa, and then we have to go there for the job. In case if they select.
What I know, as per my limited knowledge, in 2021, I mean in last 2-3 years, most of the companies are not hiring people from overseas. The reason is, first of all, they have to go through this immigration process. They have to hire a lawyer, they have to spend money, and they have to justify with USCIS. They have an opening in US, and for that particular opening, the candidates are not available in US, and by the time the candidate comes from India to US, it takes like 1 year, almost 1 year. For example, the H1 hiring process starts in April, and the candidate can come to US only in October. So how come a company can prove with USCIS or US consulate in India, I have an opening, but I can wait till October? So it's really difficult process. That's why most of the companies are not hiring people overseas. If the people are already in US, for example, someone came to US on H1 on company X, and that company X person is trying to move to company Y, yes, they are doing that. Otherwise, if the person came from India on F1 student visa and they are working, they just completed their degree, and immediately after that they are looking for a job, they are hiring. That's how they are hiring. But bringing people on H1 from India with all these experience and online interviews or whatever, it's rarely happening. Only companies who are bringing such people are like TCS, Cognizant, and all these companies which have offices in India. So what they say is, so-and-so person is already working in India in my office, and I want that person on board in US. So those companies are able to prove there is an opening and they can wait.
Okay, thank you.
Let me go to some questions here. Can a fresher who has a year gap after the graduation can apply or get selected from abroad HR through LinkedIn? Yeah, as I said, in US, hiring people from India is almost not happening. I can say close to zero. I'm not saying impossible. There might be something happening, but it is like close to zero. I have tried so many people, and every employer said, no, I'm not going to bring people from India. So that's what. But if you have opening in Middle East, Gulf area, So they might be hiring you because they always do that. So if I go to this Naukri Gulf, you can apply from here. So there might be a possibility you can apply from LinkedIn or from this Naukri Gulf, and they might hire you for the Gulf jobs. But coming to US, you can either come on student visa or you work for a company which has offices in US and India. For example, Tata Consultancy Services, Wipro, Cognizant, Microsoft, Oracle, all these companies have offices in India. You join them in India, they might send you to their office in US. That is definitely a possibility, and that's how people are coming if they are coming from India. Otherwise, they are hiring here itself in US. So that's how it works. How to create an effective profile on LinkedIn and how to create an effective profile, right? So effective profile means you have to list all the technologies where you are expert. So you are expert in A, B, C, D, and you did not mention D because you forgot. So you created your profile in 2019 and you did not even visit LinkedIn after that. But in between 2020 and 2021, you have learned 4 or 5 different technologies. There are some technologies which you can learn in 1 week or 1 month. So if you learn something new, go and update. If you are sitting idle looking for a job, you are a fresher, try to appear for some kind of a certification exam and get the certification, come back to LinkedIn, come back to Naukri.com, come back to monsterindia.com and update your profile saying that I have completed so-and-so certification. That is going to add some credibility, right? I have completed my graduation this year in clinical nutrition, dietetics. So I wanted to know what job I can do. How can I make LinkedIn profile? Yeah. So let's see now. So I am acting like you now. I completed the clinical nutrition here. So clinical nutrition, right? That's all I'm looking for. NaukriIndia.com. So here there is a job, right? So what they are looking for is medical coding is a process, something eligibility. So they are looking for people with nursing, pharmacy assistant, all these backgrounds. And they are looking for people with MSc clinical. So if you have MSc clinical nutrition, you are eligible for this job. And if I go down, they're talking about salary, nutrition aid. See, if you have worked in any of the company, like for this nursing aid or some kind of things, job location is Chennai, nursing freshers, required candidates profile. Okay. Education. So B Pharma and pharmacy are, these are the different types of people they are looking for. Right? They are providing the company information. So this is one job. Let's go to the next job. Research assistant, clinical nutrition. Number of tickets raised, issues resolved. See, they are telling you what information you have to provide in your resume or your LinkedIn profile. So if you're trying to create a LinkedIn profile and you are a clinical nutrition person, so they are saying in your profile, you have to write how many number of tickets were raised and how many number of tickets you have resolved, right? So that's how you create your profile. When you're trying to create your profile and improve your profile, go to job description of relevant jobs. So each stream has different types of jobs, right? So in all those jobs, they will specify what they are looking for. If you have any of those things, you have to provide that information in your profile. So for example, here, patient satisfaction index. So for example, you work in a company, or you are like intern in a company or trainee in a company, how the patients were satisfied with your performance, right? So if you have some kind of a performance certificate or some kind of a survey done on your name, so what you do is you go to LinkedIn or you go to Naukri.com or Monster.com and say, I worked in so and so company as a trainee, as an intern, as an employee or whatever, and patients were satisfied with me. Like I served 100 patients. Out of 100, 50 patients gave the survey. Out of those 50 patients, 40 patients were 100% satisfied with my work, right? I'm just giving you a hint for one particular job stream. The job stream here is clinical nutrition, right? So in clinical nutrition, what is really important, I don't know. But now I'm looking at the job description, and based on the job description, I'm talking about. But when it comes to my profession, there is no patient profile, there is no patient survey, nothing, right? So for each profile, each stream, the requirements are different. So when you are looking for your profile, build your profile, go to job description and see what the employers are looking for, right? Okay, there is one more question here. Completed the BTech and done the certification course in software. Is there any scope for software testing? Should I work in India 2 to 3 years then apply for jobs in US? If you are looking for a job in US, the best thing for people who are in India and looking for a job in US, there are two options. Either you work for a multinational company in India, the company which has an office in US. Try to get there, work for 2 or 3 years in that company and ask them, are you going to file my H1 or not? H1 or L1, whatever. So you can either in the beginning itself, you can ask, if I am joining your company, after how many years I can go to US? Because I want to go to US and work in US. That is one question you can ask. And the second thing, if you are fresher, like you completed BTech in 2019 or 20 or 21, you should come to US on F1 visa, student visa. Come here on student visa. Within 2 years or 18 months, you can finish your master's degree. Once your master's is done, you can get a H1 visa here itself in US. That is the second way of coming to US. But if you are working in India and applying for jobs in US, 99% of the cases, it is really hard for people to come here directly on H1 these days in 2021. That's what I'm. In olden days, it happened. Like for example, I came in 2001, and in 2001, 2002, it was possible for people to come from India. It was really easy. That's not the case anymore. But if you are in software testing, I prefer you to learn Python or Java or Ruby, because these days automation testing is going on, and manual testing, there are, I can say there are no jobs. But if you have automation testing background, using some tools and technologies, for example, Selenium or some other technologies, any of the automation technologies, if you know, then definitely there is a scope for job. Right now, the software job market is really good in India and US. So try to find the best job possible in the present market on automation testing, and use that opportunity to come to US or go to Gulf or whatever you want to go. What is the situation for a person who worked in Ministry of Saudi as a senior mechanical engineer for more than 10 years, wants to go to Saudi again? What will be the scenario working as third-party consultant engineer or contractor engineer? How will settle less authorized job profile? So it doesn't really matter whether you worked in Ministry of Saudi or private company or whatever. And if you have like 10 years of experience, definitely there are opportunities for experienced people over the world. And you don't really have to go to Saudi again, but you can go to Qatar, Dubai, Bahrain. There are so many other countries in Gulf region, and you can work there because people with experience are like rarely found diamonds, and companies are going to hire you as long as you are ready to give interview and you can keep applying for the jobs, because you apply for only one job and you are going to get that job, that's not going to happen. So you have to keep applying for the jobs, and one or other somewhere you will find the next job. Any other questions? So for example, in your case, you worked in Gulf. Let me go back to again this jobs Gulf and look for mechanical engineer jobs. Mechanical engineer, experience 10 years. Any city, any country is fine. So here you see there are jobs: mechanical and senior mechanical site engineer, mechanical engineer, crusher plant, mechanical maintenance, mechanical engineer. So there are so many mechanical engineer jobs, and they are looking for 10 years of experience in all these jobs. Keep applying for all these jobs, and somewhere you will find the next opportunity. This is just one example. There may be many more. I'm just giving one example here. Any other questions? You can join CGC by sending a message to, there is a standard phone number on flyer. There may be number, right? Today's flyer. Let me open that flyer. Yeah, if you see, there is a phone number here, 97009 56245. So send a WhatsApp message on this number, 9700 956245. If you don't get any response on that number, then you can email me. I'm going to connect you to the right people. So here is my email address. Okay. Try to message on this WhatsApp number 97. I'm going to type the number also here. 97009 56245. Right. So that is the phone number. You message on WhatsApp. If you don't get any response, you can send me email. You can send me email for any other advice also if you want to. How can use LinkedIn account for promoting business? You can promote your business on LinkedIn also. If you go to this LinkedIn here, there is a business opportunities. Just now I was looking, exploring here. If you see, there is an advertisement option here. You see my screen? So you can advertise on LinkedIn and you can promote your business. That's the simplest way. I have experience in India for 3 years in IT company for a job in Dubai. So the best thing is you can go to this Naukri Gulf or any similar website. The websites which are posting the jobs in Gulf region, and you can apply for those jobs and keep applying like 100,000, whatever number. See, for example, if you are applying like 10-20 jobs every day and you are applying for 1 month, 10 multiplied by 30 is like 300 jobs, right? So on one fine day, you will find some kind of job opportunity. And also there are some recruiters like Giwala, Jerry Varghese consultants in Mumbai and Chennai and Delhi. These consultants are also going to hire for the people working in Gulf countries. And if you have very good experience, solid experience, relevant experience for that particular job, you will get an opportunity. Contribute to this group. Yep. If you are trying to, if you are a senior person, you have a lot of knowledge, you want to present the sessions like I am presenting today, you can join the CGC team as a volunteer and you can present some new topic. You might have very good ideas than what I have, right? So definitely we need people who are volunteering for the CGC. And again, you go back to that number 97009 56245 and message them. Otherwise, you can send me an email and tell me what is your interest, what is your expertise, what kind of sessions you are planning to take. I'm going to connect with you with the CGC team. I want to ask one question. Whatever the information we are putting, are they safe in all these sites? See, that is the important thing. That's a really important question. If you go back to my profile here, I was talking about the privacy, right? Settings and privacy. So on this settings and privacy, you have an opportunity to control. You want to show your phone number. You don't want to show your phone number. You want to show your email address. You want to show all your company's experience. So try to put minimum information possible on these websites, number one. Number two, go to these privacy settings and change the privacy setting, what information people can see and what information people cannot see. If you think your picture is not important, you can put your picture there. If you think your picture is really important, you don't want to share, you don't have to. See, on every profile, there is picture. No, it's not. On some profiles, there is a picture and some profiles, there is no picture. So photo is not important and no information on internet is safe. That is bottom line. But up to an extent, we have to share the information, try to share minimum. That's why I'm not sharing my resume. You see, I have an experience into accounting background. I know the criteria to apply for the jobs abroad. Yeah. See, the simplest thing is, as I said, you go to any of these websites. For example, again, I'll go to this Gulf jobs. This is Naukri.com. This is the Gulf jobs. And in this Gulf jobs, let's go and search for accounting. So there is accounts manager, account staff, account supervisor, say for example, accounting officer. And I don't care, but so for example, you have experience. How much experience you have? Let's say 3 years of experience, right? Search for the jobs. So these are the jobs available in the Gulf region as an accounting officer. And they are asking for 2 to 4 years of experience, 2 to 3 years experience, 2 to 5 years of experience, and keep applying for the jobs, right? And other than Gulf, there may be jobs in Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, and other places. But you have to go through those websites where they post these jobs, right? I have given 2-3 examples. One is monsterindia.com for India, Naukri.com for India, and Naukri Gulf for the Gulf, and LinkedIn for over the world, right? Any other questions? And if you have any other questions, you have my email address, you can contact me. How many members are there in the CGC team? Are they all from US? There may be like 2-3 people in US. That's what I think so. And there are 2-3 people in Canada, 2-3 people in Gulf, like Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi. And most of them are in India itself, Hyderabad. CGC is a Hyderabad-based organization, and there 60 to 70% of the volunteers and speakers live in Hyderabad itself. If you join the volunteers team, most of the times we will have a meeting around once in a month or once in 3 months, and you will get to know each other. Because all these organizations are working with volunteers. I'm one of the volunteers. It's not a job. list of websites. Yeah. So one is linkedin.com. If you go to this, you already know this, but I'm typing here again. So one is linkedin.com. And the second one I was talking about is this LinkedIn, Naukri.com. This is for India, right? For India. And you have this one for Gulf. For Gulf region. And you have Master India. This is for India. And here in US, we use another website. It's dice.com. I don't know whether people are using over the world or not. Dice.com. And there is another website. Indeed.com. This is also in US. I don't know India, they have any jobs in India or not. So like this, you have a lot of job websites, right? One other question here. I have a break in my career due to motherhood for almost 1 year. How can I successfully get a job in there? See, having a gap in your career is not a negative thing, especially when you are a mother. You can definitely tell the employer, you have to be really happy about it, and you don't have to be shy to say, oh, I have a gap because I had a son or daughter. That's not thing. Everyone understands. If they are not understanding, they are not human. And I personally prefer not to work for a company or employer who is not human. If they are human, they understand what you're talking about. And some people here in US, I know, they take a break. They say, oh, I'm working for so long, I want to take a break. So they will take like 3 months, 6 months break, and they just sit at home or do something or do some certification, something like that, right? And having a break in your career is not really a bad thing, but you should be in a position to explain why you have a break, and there has to be a genuine reason, right? If you are able to explain properly, then you are good. Here is my email address one more time. What other questions you have? Yes, it is non-profit. CGC is a non-profit. They don't charge a rupee or dollar from anyone. And they are not going to give you a rupee or dollar when you are working for CGC. For this session, I am not getting any money. So it's all free. For you, it is free. From me, it is free. Yeah, there is a website. You might know. Career guidance. There's a careerbuilder.com. This is another website here in US. I don't know if they are using in India, other places or not, but this is in US. And there is a career. Guidance Council Hyderabad. So this is their website. They have a Facebook page. And on Facebook page, all those things you will see. They have too many WhatsApp groups. And in those WhatsApp groups also you can connect with people. And on LinkedIn also they have a page. Career Guidance Council. And also, yeah, to get into WhatsApp group, I have given you the number. That number is dedicated for new people joining CGC groups. Where is their website? There used to be a website, right?
careerguidancecouncil.org.
Yeah, I'm not able to find in Google. I don't know. Careerguidancecouncil.org, right?
Yes.
Yeah. My Google is not showing that. Yeah, this is the website. Yeah, you have it. Yeah, WhatsApp, you can just message that number and inshallah they are going to respond. Any other questions? See, you have volunteering option here. Who can become volunteer, roles and responsibility, volunteer benefits, and other things. So we are good. If there are no questions, we can conclude the session here.